So my journey to become a nurse practitioner is actually very interesting. I was a Peace Corps volunteer after I graduated from college, and I was in Central Africa and Cameroon. But while I was over in Cameroon, I think I was a little deterred by how much poverty and how much illness I thought. So I said, I want to work on the policy side of things, and I actually thought I was going to become a lawyer. So I studied for the LSAT while in Cameroon, and then I came back and I realized, no, I don't want to be a lawyer, and it was kind of a windy journey where I said, okay, I actually do want to become a nurse practitioner, and that's what sparked me to go into healthcare. So I started Locum Tenens about 3 years after I'd become a nurse practitioner. I just finished up 2 years at a HRSA job, so I received a scholarship and I owed 2 years to the government, and I did this in Hawaii. And then once I finished that, I realized that I wanted to have a little bit more autonomy, and I like to be my own boss, basically. So then I started Locums about a year ago, and it's been great. So I had been in contact with Pat probably a year or two before when I was in Hawaii, and I was kind of seeing what my options were after I finished. And so we kind of lost track because I had a full-time job. And so when I decided I wanted to go back into locums, I looked through my Gmail. I was like, oh, Pat, and I contacted him, and I've been working with him ever since. Pat is my man, let me tell you that. He is awesome. I have been approached by multiple other recruiters, and I stick with Barton's because of my relationship with Pat. I mean, he is always there for me. He's made my assignments so much smoother, and I'll give you an example. So on my first assignment, I was leaving at like 6 o'clock in the morning flying, and it was a Sunday, and he actually texted me and was like, did you get on your plane okay? Is everything okay? And so I just thought that was like going above and beyond like a job. Like, it's his life, so. Yeah, I love the freedom of choosing what assignments I want to work on, or my schedule. You have to work with what they need from you, but also they're very flexible, like if you need a week off here, a week off there. And so I have loved the freedom of being able to really manage my life and my own schedule, and it's helped me be able to start my business as well. I think the challenge would be every patient's a new patient when you first meet them. When you're working in primary care, for example, and you have your panel of patients, you know them. You're seeing them every few months. You know their history, their family. But when you're a locum, everyone is brand new. So that's a challenge. But I think it makes you a better provider because you are able to think on your feet and kind of put the pieces together without having the whole background story. Yeah, so I think I'm a better nurse practitioner because I'm a locum. I have been able to work in multiple different sites and get to know different patient populations. So for example, we're here in Massachusetts, and Lyme is huge. But before I was a locum, I wasn't really exposed to Lyme disease. So now with this, I will forever know Lyme and can manage my patients in other parts of the country just from my experience here as a locum. So I'm getting to know different patient populations, and I'm able to adapt, and I think that just makes me a better nurse practitioner. So I kind of come from a nomadic family. My aunt was in the Peace Corps as well, and my dad's from Egypt, so when we were younger, we moved over to Egypt. And so I think that sparked my love for different culture and traveling. And so once I graduated from high school, I grew up in Michigan. I went to the University of Arizona. Then I went to the Peace Corps in Africa, and since then I've just been traveling. So to me, this nomadic lifestyle is just the norm. Like, I get bored being in a certain place, and so I'm very grateful that I found my husband who also likes to travel too. So the Nurse Practitioner Mentorship Project kind of started off my book. So I wrote the book, The Ultimate Nurse Practitioner Guidebook, as a guide to help NPs through their career. And the Nurse Practitioner Mentorship Project is kind of a segue after that, because I realized that there's such a need for mentorship in our profession. So we don't have mandatory residencies, we don't have mentors really. Once we graduate from NP school, we're kind of on our own. So I started the Nurse Practitioner Mentorship Project to help guide and mentor NP students, those who are interested in the profession, as well as new graduate nurse practitioners. So it's a monthly membership. If anyone is interested, they can sign up on my website, nadiasantana.com. Just put their email in and they'll get an email once our doors are open, again, for registration. So every month it is monthly content. So for example, I will interview an expert in the field, which is really cool because you can see, oh, there's a travel nurse practitioner. Oh, there's an HIV specialist. Oh, I didn't realize I could do that. And I interviewed Pat as a locums. I also choose a topic and provide content. So for example, paying for NP school, mentorship is another subject, or like contract negotiation, getting a job. So it's everything that we don't learn about in school, which is really cool because we don't learn a lot about this stuff. And then we have members will have access to a private Facebook group. So I'll be doing Q&As, answering questions, just communicating and being a mentor for people. This is something that is available for you to do, and it's a great way to see the country, experience new settings, and perhaps you don't know exactly what you want to do, and I think locums is a great way to say, hey, I really like primary care, hey, I want to go into orthopedics, and you can experience that on a short-term basis, and if it doesn't work out, on to the next. I just would recommend, if anyone is interested in locums, to try it out. I mean, there's no harm in just doing something that's not the norm, and you never know, you could meet some really great people, which I have. So the next step for the mentorship project is just continue to build content and do interviews and meet with people and talk about how mentorship is very important for our profession, and we just lack it. As far as Barton, I think I'm doing an urgent care position next, so I'm excited about that because that's something I haven't done yet. So it got some exciting stuff. And also, just to touch base on that, because I work for Barton and have the flexibility, I have been able to have the time to build my business. If I was working a regular 9 to 5, I probably wouldn't have had as much time. So it really helped me build my business.